Hello everyone, it's your host Mark from High Tech Tutorials, and today we are going to be covering a library or repo that I've grown to really appreciate in my development workflow. And we're just going to jump right into it. This library is by John Sundell, another great contributor to the Swift community, and it's called Playground. And the point of this library is to be able to really very easily generate playgrounds so that you can kind of get your work done really quickly. Now, I've been in several situations where I have an idea on the top of my head. I want to be able to kind of execute on that idea, but sometimes it takes time to go to Xcode, launch a new project, file new, build something, and it's just that's just time eating into your process. A quicker little way to do it is to use this library right here, and I absolutely love it. So let's get right into essentially what goes into using it. We can see here that from the documentation, the usage is you literally just call Playground from your terminal, and it launches a playground. Let me give you guys an example, a brief little example. So from here, as the documentation says, I call Playground, and just like that, I have a really quick playground that I can use to do whatever it is that I want to do. So trust me, I know playgrounds can be tricky sometimes, and sometimes it crashes, but when this does work, it is golden, and it has increased my workflow tremendously. So let's just go through installing it real quick, even though it's really straightforward. Just going to go through the docs here. So essentially, in order to use this, you have to install Marathon. And Marathon is another library created by John Sundells as well that makes it easy to write, run, and manage Swift scripts, which is another thing I've kind of been interested in, is using Swift for scripting. Eventually, we're going to have some tutorials on the channel on writing your own scripts for what to eat for lunch and things like that. But just want to kind of point out this particular tool here. But nonetheless, to install, you literally come in, you run this command here, Marathon install Playground, and then you essentially follow these instructions, and it's literally that simple. And what you get out of that is a nice little interface that if you wanted to actually, let me see here, it's -H, I forgot what it was. You can kind of see all of the different options you get here with Playground, where you can specify a target path where the playground should be created, select a platform, whether it's iOS, Mac OS, however you want to run it. Turn on auto run for the playground. Copy code. This is another one that I tend to like to do. If there's some code I find online and I just want to dump that code in a playground, you can copy it into your clipboard and just use -C flag when you run the playground, and it will copy that code into the playground for you. Trust me, it's amazing. So with that being said, I want to run through a really quick example of what I like to use playgrounds for, especially when it comes to working with data. Let's say, for example, I'm working with this particular JSON, and I just want to map out really quick, I just kind of want to see what a structure would look like for this, or what does this JSON look like coming down. I want to decode it real quick. I don't want to have to run an app in between each run to check to see, did I parse my keys correctly, or did I do anything like that? So I can come here, and what I've done from a workflow perspective is I've already created a directory called Playgrounds, and I use this directory to essentially store all my playgrounds. So anytime I create one, I just dump it in there. And so one easy way to do that is I go Playground -T, playgrounds like that. And what that's going to do is it generates a playground for me. And if I come over to my playgrounds directory, I can see right here that I have that playground created for me. And it automatically creates the playground with the name of the current date. But getting back to what I like, the really useful piece of this is, let's say once again, I want to work with some quick JSON. I just want to parse it. Playgrounds are a very great thing for that. So let's say, for example, I want to come up here and create a function called download data, something like that. And from here, let's say I want to create a URL from a string, and that string is going to be this string up here. And I'm just going to dump that in here and force unwrap it. And then let's say from here, we want to go ahead and create a URL request from that, from a URL. And then from here, we can create a task from URL session. What's it? Shared data task. And from here, we'll pass in our request, data, response, and error. And what we can do here is now say, for example, let's just unwrap our data real quick because our data is optional. It could fail. But granted, this is prototyping phase, right? So I'm not catching any errors at the moment. I could and I should, but I just want to get something up and going really quick. So with that being said, let me go ahead, and that's really enough for us to just kind of print. If we were to print the data representation or the string representation of this data, this is a quick way to do it. Let's call that resume here so I don't forget, and then just come here and call download data. If I then hit play, right down here in the playground is all of my JSON. I mean, isn't that amazing? You got to be amazed by that. But it's nice and quick. You know, this would have took launching simulator and doing all of this extra work for something that was relatively quick to do. Now let's say, for example, I want to be able to really quick create a struct to like organize some of this data, and maybe I just want, I don't know, let's just do like the ID, name, and username, right? So I can come up here real quick and create a user, make it decodable, let user, or let's say ID is an integer, let name be a string, and let username also be a string. Now I've purposely made sure that my properties match the exact keys in my JSON, so I don't have to end up creating keys for that, which we'll cover in another video and tutorial. But nonetheless, just by creating the structure, I can now come down here, and instead of printing this, I can instantiate or create an instance of a JSON decoder, and then say let users equal a decoder.decode. And what I'm going to decode is an array of user objects from the data that I just unwrapped up here. And from here, what I will also do is, let's say, just loop over that. So I'd say users, for each one of these users here, I want to print the name, let's say, for example. And I run that, and I need to try this. And because I need to try this, let me throw all of this in a do try block. So let's come here and let's catch and print the error.localize description. And then I can come down here, cut this code, paste that in there, and that should get enough to clear us up. And now when we look at the bottom, if I didn't make a mistake, we have all of the names for the 10 users that we get in this particular JSON. Clementia, Glenna, whatever it is, and then we can come down here, we can see all of that. So really, really, really good, quick way to just prototype and mock up things really quick. I love using this sort of format to like test out what it would take to decode some JSON, because it works so much quicker than launching an app, getting running Xcode, creating a project, and it's really quick to use and access because at any given point in time, this is already saved in my Playgrounds directory. So when I come over to that directory, I'll always have access to it here for reference. So really hope you enjoyed this video. This was a quick one. I don't want to like stay too long, but definitely check out this library. I'll add the link in the description of these particular two sites. This site is a great site as well for like playing with test JSON. There's a lot here like photos and all kinds of things, but nonetheless, really great tool. Easy, not to mention like one of the things I guess I can show really quick is that there's also the ability to be able to create playgrounds with view code in it, which is another amazing thing. Like let's say you're trying to create a button real quick and you just want to create a quick little button and you don't want to have to worry about running an app every single time, and you just want it's just a basic UI view, or even if not a button, just some standard UI view that you want to run. You can create a playground with the view code just by using the -v flag. I mean, amazing. Trust me. I've used it and it works. So quick vid. Hope you enjoyed. Please like, rate, and subscribe the video, and I'll see you at the next one.